All right, traders, this is officially the beginning of the final quarter of 2022. With that being said, let's try our best to prepare to trade the best setups at the best prices so we can finish this year on a very strong green note. We're going to be getting straight into the price action analysis. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. So we're going to be going over the SPY, Nvidia, Tesla, AMD, AMC. These are the top stocks on my radar into this week. They are at key critical make it or break it levels. I'm going to be explaining to you those key levels, what reactions to look for at those key levels to determine if they're bullish or bearish for the micro, what key levels to be scalping at into this week, when to buy the call options, when to buy the put options. This is going to give you a better understanding on the key make it or break it levels, what reactions to look for, how to determine if the bulls or bears are in control at that very moment of that level, so you can capitalize off of a very nice in and out scalping trade on options. In terms of the contracts that I choose, I stay at the money. So I'm going with the contract that is closest in terms of the strike price aligned to the stock price. And in terms of expiration, same days can be extremely volatile. So if you like and you want a more well-balanced approach, I would go with the next expiration past the same day expiration if there even is a same day expiration available on that stock. So let's get right into it. So in terms of the SPY is currently at $357.18, and the two main levels that I really want to bring awareness to, and these are resistance levels in terms of past history. It's a little bit too early to say if it's confirmed resistance. We're going to be going over that, but this is what I want you to understand. $358.75. If 359 to 357, if that zone reacts as a resistance level, the SPY will go super bearish into this week. So I want you to think of this micro zone, 359 to 357. It's make it or break it. The SPY is trying to crack, right? So that's the make it or break it zone. If it reacts as a resistance and it goes under 357, we will see a nice bloody micro sell-off. That's what we're going to see. And then this is the next level that I want to bring awareness to, right? So let's just say it reacts bearish at that level and it starts to turn the low end of that zone 357 into resistance. This is that next overall key critical make it or break it level. This is basically pre-COVID levels right here at this $339, $338 level right before SPY had the massive sell-off. Right? So that's going to be your next key make it or break it support level. And that is definitely where we should see some sort of bounce. Look for bullish confirmations at that level, right? So if you see it reacting bearish towards that 357, overall, that would be your best level to be buying at 339, right? So maybe it's not this week. It could be a couple weeks down the road, but just write down those two levels. Those are the two key levels that I truly want you to be aware of because they are very, very important levels, especially that, pre-COVID level. So 359, 357, make it or break it. For SPY to continue to go super micro bearish, it has to crack, react as a resistance. Next best support level to be buying past that would be that 338, 339 zone. Now, let's talk upside potential. So this is what I want you to understand. SPY has very, very heavy support with big upside micro potential at this 362 level. And in terms of that level, it was bottoming for like 5 days straight towards the low end of that channel. And it has finally cracked, and Friday is the day where it decided to crack. With that being said, things can get very, very ugly. Like I said, if it reacts as a resistance between that 357 to 359 zone. Now, in terms of upside potential, in order for the SPY to have a micro flip, we would need to see a break above these lows, which would be 362. Above 362, a break above that would start to send it to fill this gap. Some of the best prices for puts, if it flipped micro, bullish, would be this gap right here at $370.53. That would truly be your best price if the SPY flipped bullish and if you were aiming for major resistance levels. Now, I want to bring awareness to some more key levels, right? So you can see right here, the SPY had a little breakdown below this support channel and then it rocketed back up. We're starting to see similar price action in a sense, but it hasn't decided if it wants to rocket or not. But it had a little breakdown out of the support channel and it's just been consolidating. It's just been holding. It hasn't been doing anything just quite yet. Now, in terms of some levels that I do want to bring awareness to for potential put options as well, 357 is your make it or break it level. So if 357, the previous closing price of Friday, if that reacts to support, you're going to see a very bullish micro flip on the SPY, and it is going to start to rocket if it reacts as a support level. Now, if that were to occur, the price for calls would be towards 358 with a max risk of 357 if you were to take a call trade towards there. In terms of levels for potential put options, a key make it or break it level overall for puts, a level of interest would be this, I would say this 362. That 362, another level to keep an eye on. This is a lower level, not the best one, 360, but I would say that 362. Psychologically, this 362 is going to be the key make it or break it level, right? So just understand, if SPY bottoms at 357, it's going to have a micro rip. That doesn't mean overall it's micro bullish though. For it to truly try to flip micro bullish, we would need a break above 362, and that would have to react as an overall support level. So just to clarify, again, we're going to be talking upside and downside potential. So in terms of downside potential and true strength, the bears need to go under 357, turn into resistance, and it cannot break under that 359 level. Now, let's talk bull talk. So in terms of bulls, it would have to bottom out towards this 357. To flip super micro bullish, it needs to break above 362 and turn that into support level. If it were to bottom at 357 and break above 359, it should be able to rocket to 362, and that will be your key make it or break it level. If it reacts as a resistance, it flips super bearish. If it reacts as support and breaks out, it is going to start to flip micro overall bullish. And then from there, your best overall level for put options would be at that gap at $370.53. So the key levels of interest that I have interest in terms of trade ideas based off of like everything that I just said, I'm going to be watching 357 heavily. I'm going to be watching 359. I'm going to be watching 362. I'm going to be watching 370. And then later in time, I'll be watching 340. This month, I could see us dropping to 340. But overall, based on things, how things are looking, it looks like there's more downside to come. In terms of like the overall perspective, we have more downside, but we should see that reversal. And that reversal could really start to hit towards that overall 340 level. For that micro reversal. But overall right now, from the overall point of view, things are just overall micro bearish. Now, I just really need you guys to be awareness of this because, in terms of puts, I don't like shorting this low. I don't like key breakdowns. I wait for them to rip back up to the previous support levels and see if they react as a resistance. So again, I really need to bring awareness to flips, right? Because there's two flip levels. So again, this is support at 359. If it breaks above 359, it is going to rocket, guys. This is not a joke. Look at this, 359, it rockets rapid fire to 364 very, very quickly. So again, for a micro flip to occur, it would really have to break above 359, and that's going to send SPY for a very, very nice micro spike, following up with a small drop, and then we'll have to see if it continues to, or not, right? So basically, if you see it rip above 359, it's going to try to shoot for 362, and then there will be some sort of micro pullback likely around that level. If the SPY is bottoming at higher support, which would be like that 360 level or 361, it's going to try to remain bullish and then try to break out and push for a higher level above 362.80. If it breaks down back under 359, then it just flips super bearish again. I just want you to understand and bring awareness to these levels because I don't want to see any bears getting caught up, in a potential rip. So just be aware, if it's above 359, we will see a very nice micro spike, micro flip, and that'll be an opportunity for, you can say, breakout calls at a key potential support level. And just to understand, if it reacts as a resistance, it's struggling to break out at this 359. It will continue to overall remain bearish for the micro. And if it cracks 357, your next overall support level on the SPY, if it were to go under 357 in terms of like micro overall targets, I would say would be right around here at this 353.20. That would be your next support level towards 353.20. Just so you understand, SPY has filled a gap at 357.46. Ever since it has filled that gap in extended hours, it has been consolidating. And another thing to keep in mind, so, right here, This bottomed at 357 and it rocketed all the way to $364 on this day. Then it starts to have that micro pullback. So again, don't sleep on puts towards 362.50 to 363, 364 range if it flips micro bullish. Now, if 357 cracks, we should see a short-term bounce occur at 353. So if at 357 cracks, your next support level where you look to potentially dip by would be at 353. That'd be your next micro support level. If that cracks, the next best one would be at 350. And SPY has a lot of gaps to fill below. But like I said, man, in terms of like this big bullish reversal, in terms of like whenever it's going to happen, I can see it happening when it starts to fill this gap. Now you have to use confirmations, but I could see a big micro bullish, nice micro bullish reversal happening when we fill this gap. And that gap is going to be right here at this $336 level, right around that 336, 330 zone, right around there. There's going to be some insane potential dip buying opportunities for the micro. I mean, even 328, and you got to remember that pre-COVID level at 340 as well. SPY has these gaps to fill below. Within time, it's going to fill. That's where it should really start to see that nice reversal. For those of you who are bullish and looking for those nice reversals and interested in dip buying, that's where I would be looking. And as of now, that's the game plan. So I just want you to understand, man, we cracked a huge support level with big upside potential, which was at 362. And in terms of, with that being said, this was massive micro move. You saw a massive micro move and a massive overall move as well. So just be aware of that, because we have now cracked that level. And if SPY maintains under 359, it's going to get ugly for the micro. But if you see a break above 359, that will send it to 362 to 363, which would be your next opportunity to potentially scalp puts. Best level 370. Those are my make or break it levels. Those are my key levels. Those are my thoughts. Those are my analysis. In terms of confirmations that I'm using to enter these trades, it's mainly, volume analysis and candlestick analysis. That's mainly, what it is. It has to look bullish. The price action has to be reacting a certain way. It's hard to explain in terms of like how it has to react, but if you study candlesticks and you study price action, you have a good feel if it's reacting bullish and wants to spike, or if it's reacting bearish and wants to drop. That's something that's more visual and can't really be explained in a sense. You have to like visually be in the trade, and then you just know, because you know how it reacts when it reacts that specific way of movement. But yeah, candlesticks is what I'm looking for. So if I see, a strong solid floor above 359, that could be an opportunity for calls. 357 is your best price. If I see a strong solid roof of resistance towards 360, 363, 364 best. 363, I would say. 363 would be your like best. 362.80 around there. That would be my level of interest for puts. And then best level 370 puts. And 359 and 357 are make it break, man. 359 is really make it or break. Like I said, if it breaks above 359, you will see a nice micro spike to the previous closing price. Check this out. SPY sells off. It's at support. It bombs at support, and then it rips back up to the previous closing price, has a nice little micro pullback. So again, our previous closing price in terms of like not Fridays, but the one before that is 362.79. So if you see the SPY break above 359, we should retest 362.79 and then have a micro pullback for potential puts. Now, let's say, puts worked at 363 and it has a pullback, it should be able to drop to about $360.70. Now, to remain bearish, it would have to go under 360 to 359. To remain bullish, it cannot go under 369. If it goes back under 369, if it goes back under 360, it will likely flip micro bearish if that move were to occur. So again, just be aware of this move, because if it breaks above that, you'll see the nice spike. It will try to retouch the previous closing price, then have a little micro sell-off. If it bottoms at like 360, that's overall bullish. If it goes under 359, it's super fucking bearish. But just understand that, because study this past pattern right here, and then it continued to go up for the day. So be aware of that. And then if that occurs and it bottoms 360 and you see a break above 363, overall day will be super bullish if that were to occur. So pay attention to this pattern that I'm looking at. And yeah, I'm prepared, man. There's going to be a lot of phenomenal trades that are going to be based off of the 30-minute candles, and we are at very, key critical make it or break it levels. And I'm going to be 100%, locked in and prepared to trade these heading into, heading into the morning tomorrow. Psychologically, this this 360-60 level and 360-280 are going to be some very key levels to be watching as well into tomorrow. Those are my make it or break it levels. If it reacts as a roof at the resistance level, if I see patterns forming, then I take the trade for puts. If it reacts to support and I see 30-minute candles patterns forming, then I'll take the calls. Those are my key make it or break it levels. Do not blindly trade off of those levels. And in terms of puts, I focus on resistance. In terms of calls, I focus on support, not breakouts, and trade the best setups at the best prices. And like I said, you have to wait for confirmation. You have to identify patterns within the 30-minute. You cannot just blindly trade off a support level or off of a resistance level and simply buy calls and puts. It does not work like that. You have to see how it reacts, see the confirmation, see the way it's trading, study the patterns in the price action analysis that will appear later into the day once we start getting a couple 30-minute candles forming past like 11 a.m. So yeah. And just so you know, if you are bearish, if 357, say we gap down, 357.18 has to react as a resistance or it's going to try to flip bullish. It's not going to have that true crazy bullish move until it breaks above 359. That's where, in terms of like true bullish, nice little micro spike, it needs to go above 359. So 357 is your make it or break it support level. 359 is your make it or break it resistance level, right? So if it breaks out, then it starts to rocket. If it cracks one of those levels, then it starts to crash. And that was my overall analysis for this buy. Now, in terms of Nvidia, for Nvidia, we are at some very interesting levels. So my main focus for this overall, stock would be to kind of wait. I want to get a better level on this one, but this will be key. There's a gap to fill on Nvidia towards, let's see, right here. This is going to be 100 and let me go further back. $115.93. This is where we're going to see a very nice bounce likely on Nvidia. So again, you have to use bullish confirmations, but set your price alert for this one within time it's going to trigger. So just be patient. $115.93. That's where I'm interested in dip buying Nvidia. Very strong support, big upside micro potential. It's due for some sort of bounce. So that's my level of interest for Nvidia. It's going to be 115.93 gap close reversal. If it reacts to support, it's going to have a gap close reversal, start to rocket back up a little bit. In terms of Tesla, same exact strategy, same exact play. It'll likely work even better on Tesla. There's gaps to fill above on Tesla, and Tesla is known for spiking at very, very strong key support levels, and it's known for having gap close reversals. It's a very good stock in terms of the gap close reversal strategy where it tends to work at the key make it or break it levels. So we have two gaps to fill. I would say wait, but this is what I want you to be aware of as well. So this is previous resistance and it had a nice breakout. Now it's heading back to previous resistance. There's some gaps to fill above right here. So we have a gap to fill below at 258.86. If that reacts to support, then you're going to want to play it for a gap close reversal. If that level cracks, then the absolute best level you could be buying call options on Tesla would be at $247.50. Those are my two key levels for make it or break it on Tesla stock. That's where I'm interested in potentially dip buying it. It's going to be very interesting to see if previous resistance can react to support. If so, then I go with the higher level. If that doesn't work out, then I'll make it all back at the lower level and size in slightly bigger. So the next one is going to be AMD. So in terms of AMD stock, again, that same overall gap close reversal strategy. So in terms of this strategy, I would say my favorite one would be to play it with, and the top ones would be that Tesla setup and Nvidia. Nvidia would be at such a key oversold point. I would say that one would be very, very key as well. But Tesla loves to have gap close reversals, especially at the lower gaps. So the lower the one, the better. In terms of AMD, I do want to see how it reacts at 59.57. It's a very key psychological level for Nvidia. So we'll see if it can have a gap close reversal at 359.57, see if it reacts as a support for a potential micro reversal at that level. In terms of AMC, this is one pattern that I want to bring awareness to. I think it's a tad bit early to be getting in on this one, but I do believe we are due for some sort of bounce. With that being said, I wanted to bring awareness to this one specific pattern. So in terms of AMC stock, we recently formed a doji, and this is a very rare pattern for this stock. You have a nice doji here. It's not a bullish doji, however, and it is forming lower highs, so you can't say it's bearish, but it is at support. AMC filled the gap. Once it filled the gap, it had a gap close reversal. It tried to climb back up a little bit to fill this gap above, couldn't do it. Now it's forming like a gravestone doji at support, so it's not the most bullish reaction. Now, this is one pattern that I've identified on AMC stock that will likely work out. And you can see right here, AMC stock forms that same doji, and it just continuously drops. It drops for about 6 days straight. And then on that first green candle on the daily chart, that's when it really has that nice reversal for a steady uptrend. So basically, I'm going to make a trade based off of that pattern. I'm going to wait for AMC to form its first green day, whether that's going to be 3 days or 6 days like last time, whatever it's going to be, I'm going to wait for it to form that first green day. And if it looks bullish, I might look to enter a swing trade, or I might look to just day trade the next day for calls. But basically the idea is that AMC can have a short-term reversal once it forms the first green day. That's the idea that I'm looking for. Now, ideally, I would like it to drop a little bit more before I take that potential trade. In terms of some key levels, your key level would really be, you have a lot of support towards this. Let's see. A major key level, this, we're pretty much at it, man. This $7 is make it or break. If it can't hold up here, then yeah. So basically, if we can't hold above 7, you're going to see a move like this, where it has a couple red days. And this was a sharp sell-off. It went from like $11 all the way down to 9. Nice sharp sell-off. And you can see right here, if it cracks 7, you get a sharp sell-off to like 530. So that's where I'd be interested in dip buying AMC, would be in those higher 5s. That's where I would like to buy it based off this pattern that I'm seeing. So basically what I'm saying is, what I would prefer to happen is, I would prefer a further downtrend with this doji pattern. And then if it can form a green day in the 5s, then I would be interested in buying AMC. So that's my plan for AMC stock. I think that one will work well. So we'll see on that. So yeah, guys, just to understand, those are the key make it or break levels. Anything's possible. And we've cracked a very key support level on SPY. And, overall we're in a bearish market. So just understand these things, but, at some point the market will flip. I don't think it's going to overall super flip bullish. Like we could see a little micro pump, but in terms of super bullish, I don't think it's going to occur until those like 330s in terms of like the next, like this is like a nice bullish overall rebound. Like, yeah, we can get something like this, but then it just comes back down. Something like this, and then it just comes crashing back down. But overall in terms of my like outlook on it, we're due for 330s within time. We'll see a bounce around those 330s, 340s, those, pre-COVID levels. And then that's where we could start to see some sort of a reversal, not like an insane reversal, but some sort of nice reversal. For the micro, we're not looking the most bullish, but we do have to see how it reacts because, there was a lot of support at this 362, and it held that support for 5 days straight. Now, Friday's the day where it finally started to bleed, and we know, man, if this stays under 359, it's going to get absolutely fucking slaughtered if it stays under 359. But we will see a little short-term micro reversal if it pumps above 359. But if it goes back under 359, then it's all hell's going to break loose on the SPY. So it's going to be very interesting to see how it reacts, man. But just do not get caught. Do not get caught in bad reversals. Trade at the key make it or break it levels, and just understand if SPY reacts bearish in between 359 to 357, we are due for 353. If SPY reacts bullish above 359, we are due for 360, 280, and we'll likely see a small pullback there. Then we have to see if that history is going to repeat itself, where if it bombs at 360 and then rockets back up for new highs, or if it goes under 360 and then drops below 359 and remains super fucking bearish and doesn't have the overall micro flip. So these are all things that we have to be aware of. So just understand the key price action analysis, make it or break it. If it reacts bullish at that specific level, then the bulls are going to step in. If it reacts bearish at that specific level, then the bears are going to step in. And just understand certain levels can react very, very bullish. You have to be aware, like right here, it bottomed at 359 and it had a massive move to the upside to 363. And then it went even higher the same day. So be aware of that. Be aware of, okay, if SPY goes above 359, it's going to try to flip super fucking bullish. Be aware of that. But also be aware of, if it cracks below 357, it's going to try to hit 353. But is that the most attractive level for puts? No, not really. It's really not the most attractive level of puts. So puts in a sense can be in a very tough situation because they can get caught in a little reversal potentially, depending on what level you're trading at, right? So just understand these things. Wait for the trades to come to you. Don't just go rushing inputs. Wait for the best trades to come to you. But in terms of like how we're looking overall, like it's just we're not looking that bullish. But like I said, you know what to look for in terms of bullish reactions. We're not looking the most bullish. I have seen times though where the SPY forms a candlestick like this on the daily, and it tends to bottom out within the next day or like 2 to 3 days later. I have seen that pattern. Like for example, this day right here it forms this candle. This day right here it forms this candle. 2 days later it drops. Then it bottoms out, has a nice little reversal to fill the gap. So this is another possibility that I want to bring awareness to you as well. I've seen a lot of patterns where SPY, and we are at a key critical make it or break it level, where it forms a candlestick that looks like this. It forms a candlestick that looks like this. And then it tends to bottom 2 days later, if not the next day. And then it starts to have the move up. So that's one thing to be aware of heading into this week as well. But in terms of the micro, if we are red and if we are red, we will see that drop. If 357 reacts as a resistance, we will see that drop to 353. Then we likely see a nice little micro bounce. Just be aware of that, man. Be aware of that because we're due for a bounce. And based off the daily chart, I can see it occurring. It's just a little bit too early, but we have to see how it reacts because we're just at such a crazy level. We're at such a crazy level right now, right? So remember, 359 make or break. Reacts as a resistance, bearish, cracks 357. If it breaks above 359, super fucking bullish. That's my thoughts. That's my analysis. If you do want to be a part of Trader Society, we're going to absolutely crush it for the final quarter of 2022. That's going to be the first link down below in the description. Everything is explained within the video and on the page within the first link in terms of what's included. You get lifetime access. It's a one-time fee. As soon as you sign up, you get instant access to everything. The Discord server, the chat room, the networking opportunities, the private direct message opportunities within the chat room, along with the video lesson library where you learn how to trade calls, how to trade puts, how to trade the market both ways, how to scalp, how to trade the best setups at the best prices, what confirmations it is that I use to enter trades at these key levels, where I set my price targets, where I set my mental stop losses, how to set up the platform, how to set up the charts, how to use all the technical price action trading strategies that I've created, how to profit from history repeating itself, and to confirm that history is going to repeat itself. I mean, imagine making a trade that's based off of history, and you can use confirmations that work over 70% of the time that history is going to repeat itself. And the beauty of that trade is you know exactly what's going to occur because it's based off the past. It's not going to work all the time, but you will be so accurate compared to everybody else because the trading strategy is based off of history repeating itself. Therefore, if it works, history is going to repeat itself in a very similar cycle, and you will have insane accuracy in all areas with win rate, entries, exits, all that good stuff. So there's a lot to it. Risk management, position sizing, the trading strategies, price action analysis, how to read the price action, how to trade the price action, psychology, mindset training. Along with, the Discord server, the chat room, the networking opportunities within the chat room. And, within the chat room, you also get access to my real-time trailer, to my real-time scalps, my stock analysis, my watch list. There's so much more to it. If you want to be a part of it, it's the first link down below in the description. You can get started working with us first thing in the morning tomorrow. With that being said, guys, I will see you tomorrow, and we'll be live, and it's going to be a phenomenal trading week. Let's get it.